just to come up and take a seat.
Good morning.
Welcome. Who would like to start?
Patrick, the introduction there has just said that this will be one of the biggest crowds that Crystal Palace have ever played in front of, obviously outside of cup finals and semi-final. How disappointing, frustrating, how difficult is it, the fact that you have so many of your senior players who are not on this trip?
I think it's not the ideal situation for a manager, of course, to have so many players behind. But on the other side, we are really pleased as a football club and myself as a manager to be part of that tourney. You know, we went to Singapore, we are in Australia today, and when you look at our squad, we have so much and so many young talent in our football club, and to have this kind of experience for them, I think it's something unbelievable for them, you know. So we had some of the young players who never went outside of Europe. So today they are in Singapore, and we are today in Australia, and we are going to play against United in front of 75, 80,000 people, and this is an excitement for them. So, you know, we put them in a situation where we will learn a lot from them as well, and of course we have some senior players here who need to play games because, of course, been traveling a lot, we don't do much training, but those games are really important for them to get their fitness.
I know in the past you were asked about vaccinations and you said you've been vaccinated. You wouldn't force anyone to be vaccinated. Is it a little bit, I suppose, embarrassing, that you've been invited here and there's so many players at home, and effectively your assistant has got to stay back because you've got so many senior players playing matches at home?
I think it's important to understand that there's players who staying behind for a different reason. And of course we will not going to talk about the private situation of players if they are vaccinated or not, but there are players who stayed behind because they needed to have more training. Some of them needed to play more games, more minutes, and we just try to look at the situation and make the best decision possible for us try to be competitive in the first game of the season. So we have a group of players who stayed behind, we have a group of players who are here, and again, those games are big games for us, and you can see the games that we played in Singapore against Liverpool. I think it's really difficult to find this kind of atmosphere and this kind of games in the preparation. So that was a really good preparation games for us, and I'm sure the game tomorrow will be the same.
Your background as a player at Arsenal and also the time you spent at Manchester City, they would be used to being invited to play in matches like this. Does it say something about Crystal Palace and also the status of the Premier League that you have been invited to play in these games, that you are playing these three big matches, two in Singapore and one in Australia? Yeah,
I think that is just the strength of the Premier League. I think as a football club we are proud, we are really pleased to be invited to play those games, and this is why we will put again the best team on the field and give players minutes and try to get ready for the first game of the season, because this is our target, this is our focus. And to be here, I think it just shows the strength, yes, of the Premier League. You know, even us as a football club, we went to Singapore, we met with a couple of fans, we are here, we're going to do the open session today, there will be a couple of fans around, and the popularity of the Premier League is massive.
Can I just ask you one final one? You obviously have just signed Doucoure. There's a story that has come out via his lawyer about some kind of threats or bribery, I suppose, allegations that have been made by his lawyer that he has received since this deal has been done. Are you aware of this, and are you across what is happening?
Yeah. I spoke to him. I spoke to the lawyer as well, and of course myself and the club, we are fully supporting the player, and that was a strong statement, and this is something that he as a player and us as a football club we can accept.
Patrick, Joe Lynch from ASB Australia. I hope you're enjoying the bit of time you've had here yet. Looking at Palace's previous form when you've gone on overseas tours haven't generally correlated to strong starts in the league for Palace. I think the last time they went on a tour, they lost their first 7 games of the season. What steps are you taking this time to avoid a similar fate, and why do you think those steps will work?
I don't know if it will work or not, but I wasn't here in the past. You know, what is really important for me as a manager is try to prepare the team as the best as we can to start the season well. I think when you're looking at the first 4 or 5 games, it's quite really challenging, and we have to be ready for it. And when you're looking at the friendly games that we have to play, I think this is a good preparation for us.
And you'll forgive me for asking the local angle question, but you started your coaching career in the City Football Group in Manchester City's academy and with New York. There's a CFG affiliate here in Melbourne City. Was there ever any discussions at that point of you ever coming and spending some time with Melbourne City when you were with CFG?
No. No, it wasn't any kind of conversation, but I'm aware of the Melbourne City and how well they've been doing in the last couple of years, and the tight relationship football-wise there is between the City football teams, so the City Football Group. So yeah, I know a lot about City, and they've been doing some really good job, to be honest.
Patrick, a lot of competition in midfield, a lot of players obviously not here who are ostensibly in your first team, but a lot of opportunity for some of the young players who started against Liverpool. I guess just some comments on them and how they can potentially push on and really compete for a spot in the early part of the season.
Yeah, we especially played the first game against Liverpool, and it's always good to have those young players around because you learn a lot about them on and off the field. And the game against Liverpool was quite really interesting because, of course, in the midfield we had Kylian, who just joined our football club, and he had a really solid game against Liverpool. And you always learn something about those players, their mental strength, the way that they will face difficulties. And we had a couple of players who I believe can stay with us and help the football club to grow, or some of them that are not ready yet for that level, or they will need to play more first team football and they may need to go on loan. So those couple of games will help us to try to make the best decision for the future.
And what sort of, observations did you take out of watching Manchester United last Friday, obviously against Melbourne victory, 4-1 win? What were some of the things you took out of that game?
No, I think when you look at the first game that they play against Liverpool and the game that they had against Melbourne, it looked like the new manager start to implement the way that he want the teams to play. But you just need to look at the individual talent that you have in that team, and to believe that United they used to play to win the Premier League, and I think this year they will be there, try to get the spot for the Champions League or win the title.
Patrick, during your first season managing the club, you helped facilitate breakout seasons for like Conor Gallagher, Mark Gavey, Michael Elise, Terry Mitchell, plenty of players, and you got the best out of a number of others. How important is player development for you, and how much do you see this game playing a role in the development for the next wave of Palace players? Yeah, I think developing young player and young talent, it's part of the DNA of the football club. I think at Palace you had a couple of young players who came through and make
make a good career for themselves in the Premier League. And obviously we were successful on that side last year because we identified some really young players and we create a platform for them to express themselves, and that was quite really good. I believe that this year it will be, of course, even more difficult because we raise the level of demand on the players. And of course, having those young players with us in that tour will tell us if they will be ready to take some part during the season. If not, we will need to find the way to give them the game program they need to play week after week to keep improving themselves.
And we're talking about some of the players that have left out. Obviously, there's quite a squad here as well, with a lot of young players there. What are you looking for from some of these younger players that they're in your thinking going forward towards the end of the season?
I think it's to see how their personality on the field, because of course they have a talent. They're good players. To show it in games, to show it against those teams that we're going to face, is required a little bit more than just the talent. It requires the personality and the determination to show yourself and how good you are. So we're going to expose them, and playing in front of 75,000 people will be a different kind of pressure for them as well. So we will learn about how they will deal, how they will manage this kind of pressure. And that's why I think to have them with us it's really positive.
Patrick, you talk about the need for some of these young players maybe to go out on loan and play first team football. I think you're returning from this trip on the 24th of July. The Football League season starts a week later. Is that enough time to find these young players good situations in the Football League to send them out on loan, or are you already having these conversations now while you're here in Australia about possible destinations for them?
Yeah, I think there's still time, yes, and those conversations been taking place. You know, it's always important to have different options, and the doors opens to see what is really the best option for the players to keep developing themselves. So some of them will stay, some of them will go on loans. What is really important is to sit down with the players and try to find the best options for them to play, because if you want to develop yourself, you need to play games, and of course you need to find the right place for those players to allow themselves to keep making mistakes, because at this age you're still making mistakes, and to keep growing as a player. But those discussions is not going to take place the last week. It's been taking place for the last couple of months, because they've been with the football club for a long time. So we just have planned, but that tour will help us to make the right decision.
You mentioned that you expect to see Manchester United challenging for the Champions League again. What's your ambition for the upcoming season? Do you feel that you've got the squad now to maybe make a push for Europe top 6, perhaps?
Top 6? No. What is important for us is try to improve, of course, from last year, the way we want to play the game. I think we had a really good season, but we want to improve, and one of the ways to improve is to improve the squad. We're still, I believe, short in the number of players that we have. Hopefully we will make a couple of more signings, and that will help us to be more ambitious.
Which positions are you sort of looking to fill still?
I don't want to go too much into details, but we will need a couple of more signings, and I expect us to make a couple of more signings.
How difficult is the Premier League? You're talking about we need to be ambitious, but you know how hard every season is. How much have you got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing? Because there is standing still doesn't work. If you stand still, you go down.
Yeah, I think it is really difficult. It's really challenging. This is why we can't think about. Yeah, we had a good season last year, and this year is going to be the same. No, it's going to be even more difficult. That is why it's important for us to improve the squad. Is because when you look at the teams around and how they improving the squad, it will be even more challenging. So we have to do what we need to do on the field, working hard, but on the other side, we will need support by signing a couple of more players to allow ourselves to be more competitive.
Patrick, Simon Peake from BA. I just wanted to ask about Malcolm Abio. Sorry, I'm going to mispronounce it. Abio. Manchester United have been interested in you managed to get into Crystal Palace. Do you think you are becoming an attractive proposition for these young players? You've done it with Mark Gallagher and other people like that. Do you think Palace are kind of making that position in the market that you can come and succeed and flourish rather than go to a local league team and maybe sit on the bench?
Yeah, I think we give those young players a different options. And I think what is really interesting for us is that those young players that we had last year did really well. And Mark Gallagher, Conor Gallagher, or even Tarek went on the national team. They've been playing games, and it's important for those young players to realize that to keep improving themselves, they need to play games. They need to play week in and week out. And obviously we give those young players that opportunity. And Malcolm is a young talent. We are really pleased that he made the decision to come to us. And it's important for us as well is to create this kind of pathway for him to get game time and to keep improving.
You mentioned Conor Gallagher, and people maybe have mentioned this in other interviews. Is there any chance?
At the moment, I don't think there is any chance because he's a Chelsea player and he did fantastically well for us, and he's in a pre-season with Chelsea, and honestly, we wish him all the best. I don't think there is a way to get him back.
Patrick, Katie Price from Channel 10 here in Australia. We've spoken, obviously it's not ideal not having some of those senior players out for these games, but looking at the bigger picture, preparing for the season proper, how difficult is it having your squad essentially split between two continents?
How difficult it is?
Yeah, in terms of preparing for the actual season.
It is difficult. It is challenging because obviously that didn't allow us to play more games together. That didn't allow us to work on tactical basics together, and we know that it will take a couple of games before the team starting to really gel together and really having a really good understanding. We have to deal with it. We have to think about different way of working and then start the first game against Arsenal as the best as we can.
And obviously there's going to be a big crowd there tomorrow night. What can your Aussie fans expect to see from Crystal Palace?
Well, I think they will see a team that will be difficult to play against, a team that will work hard, will work well until the last minute. I think against Liverpool we show that we can still be really competitive, and we have young players who are really hungry to show that they want to be part of what we try to do in our football clubs. The young players who want to show that they want to be part of the football club, they want to be part of the first team, and they want to be given a chance. And of course we have those players like Jordan, like JP Mateta or Edward Wardy, Joe Ward, who want to show that they want to be part of the starting 11. So players always have some things to prove, and I think they can be guaranteed that we will give United a good game.
Super. That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.